on this. Okay, so here on the mic, welcome to the bi-monthly 7-day group liquid fast. And this is the segment that we have a special guest speaker that I feel that can contribute to this message of cleansing, of detoxification, of transformation of self through, mostly through cleansing and through detoxification. So I would give a little bit of edification, but I would love for her to introduce herself.
With pleasure.
So,
well, thank you. Thank you. So, brother, how do I pronounce your first name?
My first name, I go by Azazel Zahir.
Zahir.
Azazel, yeah, I go by Zahir, but the whole name is Azazel Zahir.
Okay, that's a beautiful name. What does it mean?
It's literally like yin and yang. It's like dark and light. Zahir being the
light.
Yeah.
That's perfect. What is your element?
My element, as far as what are you talking about? Human design?
Earth. Yeah, earth, water, air.
I'm mostly earth, actually.
Okay, cool. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah,
okay,
cool. It doesn't really show up in astrology.
No,
but it kind of
okay.
If you're looking, you can see it.
Yeah, because I can definitely sense that from you.
Right.
I also sense some water there as well.
Very watery and very earth. So that's perfect.
Yeah.
So
okay, cool.
Yeah, there's some grounding that it helps me, that my earth element really helps me to stay, here on this planet.
Well, thank you again for having me, and hey to all. My name is Mutulu. I facilitate. I don't like to say that I run a business, because I'm literally just sharing elements of my lifestyle. I began this journey, you could say, of self-awareness, so to speak, in roughly about, I would say 2009. And it's just been a long-winded journey of me growing and getting to know myself, and which evolved into studying plant spirit medicine, herbal medicine. And now we are at the place where my main focus is nutritional therapy, but mainly through the medium of educating women and children, men too, but my focus is to educate women in terms of learning how to take care of themselves and their family and whatnot. So that is my position at this present moment. And I trust that I'll learn more here and continue to grow.
Definitely. Okay, well, if that is how you want to introduce yourself, that's it.
That's all I can offer. I mean, that's all I can think of right now. There's so much to me, and that's why I specified that this is where I'm at this present moment. Sorry, I just got an email. This is where I'm at this present moment, because I am very much a colorful person. I have so much to offer, but I know that this is a large part of my work, and I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. And why am I enjoying it? Because I actually live it.
Right.
I live it. So another thing is that I am a mother. I'm a mother of two. I have 3 children in total. 2 of them came from my womb, and the other one was given to me. One is 18 this year, the other one is 6, and the other one is 4. I also have a husband, and we're actually in this life work together. He runs a company called Eat to Live, Not to Die. And it's a whirlwind. It's definitely a whirlwind, but we're enjoying it. We're enjoying the journey.
Beautiful introduction. Okay, well, I was cruising through your Instagram, and we were trying to figure out something that we can kind of pinpoint this topic on, because like you said, it's very colorful. When you go into your Instagram, it's like there's so much good information, but it was like 3 or 4 posts down. It says biggest day, detox your kitchen. I said, oh, that's it.
Yeah. I'm so grateful that you use that as a title for this talk here. Because it's so imperative for us to understand what this means. Because usually when we're looking at detoxing, we're just looking at the body, but it's a whole lifestyle change. So let's get into it. I'm looking forward to this.
So that can definitely go over your head when it's just, like you said, it's a whole lifestyle change. And most of us, even myself, I thought it was just eating right, and if I just ate right, that everything else would just fall into place. Like that was my belief when I first got into this message. So, given the information that we can help with, I think that it'll just, speed rocket people's progress, because you won't have to hit those bumps in the road and learn on your own. You just know already, like, for example, I use this in the post, you can remove things out of your kitchen and avoid the hassle, or avoid the risk of that late night, I'm going in the kitchen, I'm going to the cupboard and doing what you do. So that just things like that can help tremendously. And that's just coming from me. So I know you have plenty of tips that we would love to explore, how to actually detox your kitchen. What does that really mean to you?
Well, to me, so when I began my journey, I started off with just, vegan foods. And then I came across Dr. Sabi and I was like, oh, that's too much for me. I'm just trying to get past the fact, because I was okay with not eating meat. Right. I was okay with just doing vegetables and fish on the odd occasion, and maybe some white meat such as chicken and whatnot. But then when I came across Dr. Sabi, he was just like, hell no to everything. I was like, okay, this is going to be heavy. This is hello. So it was a gradual process for me. So one of the things that I always do my best to encourage people when they're making a transition is to not completely just jump right in. Well, let me pause there. It depends on who you are as an individual. It depends on where you're coming from. So like I just highlighted, with me, it started off with, working with veganism and some white flesh like fish or chicken here and there. And then gradually I was able to remove these things. Now, what I did to replace those things was put my ass in the kitchen first and foremost, get creative, start working with legumes, working with your dark leafy greens, looking for other, also when I began the journey, there wasn't much, you could say, vegan alternatives in the supermarkets and in the Whole Food stores. It's only as of within the last, I would say 3 to 4 years, that you're seeing such a boom of, or you could say a large range of alternatives within our supermarkets and even in the Whole Food stores. So, it's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing, but we'll come to that. So in regards to detoxifying your kitchen now, we need to look at essentially the things that are heavily processed, extremely refined, and the things that do not contain seeds, first and foremost. That is where I like to give people a nice little introduction. Remove the seedless foods, remove the heavily refined foods, and remove the things that are extremely processed. So we're looking at these things that is on the market now, such as the vegan cheese and the plant milks. So let's pause on the plant milks for instance. When you look at the back of these plant milks on the carton, on the boxes, when you actually deep the percentage of the ingredients, such as almonds or walnuts or coconuts, it's usually at a small percentage of 2%, 5%. There's barely anything in it. There's literally no nut milk in there. What it's made up of is distilled water, some form of stabilizer to glue whatever chemical they've added to it with the water. And there you have it, and a 1 to 2% of whatever nut they choose to promote to you. So we need to remove this idea that convenience is a necessity. We need to get back into the spirit of what our grandmothers had or our grandfathers had, which was becoming one with your food. Get into the spirit of getting into the kitchen, making use of your hands. Don't be lazy, because like I said, detoxifying your kitchen is a lifestyle. It's mental to begin with. It is mental. So removing the seedless foods, removing the heavily processed foods and the refined foods, and there was something else. Yeah, let's just stay there for a minute. The next thing would be what you are preparing your food in. So I'm quite big on this. There is a cookware that I like to use. It's called Salad Master. There is another piece of cookware that I like to use occasionally, which is the cast iron. Now, let's talk about cast iron for a minute, because you get a lot of health enthusiasts promoting the cast iron. Now, I'm not one to heavily promote the cast iron, because the iron that it is made from, it doesn't essentially assimilate with our genetic makeup, and it can cause excessive amounts of heavy metals to produce within our body, which is the iron that doesn't assimilate with us. So when I do use cast iron, it's from a place of maybe sauteing some mushrooms, maybe making my flatbreads in it, or you could say just doing like a quick flash stir fry. but I would never, and I repeat, and I'd like to emphasize, are you okay, brother? Okay. I would never actually stew any of my foods in a cast iron pot or a Dutch pot. So you've got like the cast iron skillets. That's what I like to use, but I would never invest in, you could say, like a Dutch oven type of pot, which people usually use to stew their vegetables and, you know, do pot roast and all of these things, or cook their collard greens and all of these things. And I would never use that. Why? Like I said previously, because when you are essentially stewing, cooking down, taking time to cook something in a cast iron pot, you are leaching that material into your food. Okay, that material is leaching into your food. So when you're just doing a flash cook, i.e. sauteing, doing a, you know, like your flatbreads or something, that's not essentially going to extract too much of the essence from the material of that cast iron pot or skillet. So going back to the salad master now, the salad master is what I like to use to stew and cook my soups in, my stews, prepare my quinoa, my fonio, what else? My porridges, brew my iron tonics and teas and things of that nature. Why is that? Because the salad master is made from 316 stainless steel. It's a very high quality stainless steel, and it's actually combined with stainless steel and titanium. Now, the titanium is what the doctors or the surgeons, the high quality surgeons, like to use when they're actually, you could say, trying to piece your ligaments together. So that's the material that they use within your legs, or if there's, you know, within your arms or wherever in your body.
Doesn't break down.
Exactly, because it doesn't break down. All right. And it's not going to cause any issues within your body. So it gels quite well with the body. So with the salad master, one of the best things about it is that it helps to retain the minerals within your food. That's a wonderful thing. It also has like this, I wish I could show you now. It has like a wonderful dial on it where it indicates to let you know that when your food is becoming too hot. Now, so it's really good. So it's not even like an electric thing. So on the actual lid of the salad master, it has like this little dial. And when your food is becoming too hot, it rings. So it will just be making a quick tapping loud sound to let you know that you need to turn it off or turn it all the way down so that you don't overcook your food. So I love to work with those two pieces of cookware. So I would essentially encourage people to work with those two pieces of cookware in the beginning of your journey, because it's so important. Because cooking with aluminium, for instance, or ceramic, like I said, stewing your foods down in cast iron, Dutch pots, and all of those things, it can cause a high. The other one is Teflon. That one is scary. There's a documentary that I would love for you all to go and watch. It's called The Devil We Know.
The Devil We Know.
The Devil We Know. There's another one as well, and I'm trying my best to remember that one. The name, I can't recall, but if I do, I will send it to you, my brother. And you could definitely share it with the group. Please, it's on YouTube. Go and watch The Devil You Know, or The Devil We Know. One of the two. The Devil We Know. Go and watch that.
I'm definitely.
When I watched that documentary, I was literally in tears. I was literally in tears, because Teflon is a material that we even wear to school. It's even in the children's school uniform. So when that material is rubbing on your skin, it's actually going within your pores and causing all kinds of chemical reactions that we just don't even know. Another thing is the people that are actually manufacturing this product, you know, like just the typical industrial workers, they have suffered a great deal. You know, a lot of them were giving birth to children that were deformed. A lot of them had developed cancer later on in their lives. Another thing is that wherever this material is made in their manufacturers, whatever region that's in, all the people within that city will be contaminated by it, because the waste from the materials that they're obviously making the Teflon with, they're pouring it into the riverbanks. That's going into the water streams and obviously coming through people's taps and bathrooms. They're bathing with this water. Some people are drinking this water. It's caused quite a havoc on this planet. So I'll definitely urge you to watch that. Don't watch it from a place of fear. Watch it from a place of empowerment. You know, let that empower you.
Yeah, I'm sorry to cut you off, but that
no, it's cool.
Aluminum craze right now is ridiculous, because they have this new thing with I think it's the Asians or Chinese, that they're just whatever aluminum they can find. I think they're just finding all types of aluminum, and then they're molding these new aluminum pots, and they're just selling them all over the world. So most of these places, like here in Costa Rica, that's like the main pot that you get. It's like an aluminum pot. And aluminum is terrible, as a terrible heavy metal to have in your body.
Yeah, it really is. I when I was actually doing my research from watching that documentary and then coming across the Salad Master, I learned so much about just that product within itself. And it's interesting because with that and Teflon, I would say they are the worst kinds of cookware to have. And I wouldn't even encourage you to use it a little or sparingly. Just completely remove it from your life, because it causes all kinds of issues, especially like, for instance, people will think that, oh my gosh, I've always got a cold, or I'm always not feeling, quite 100% within myself, not realizing that it's not just the food that you're eating, because you could be cooking alkaline food, plant-based food, indigenous food, all you like. But if you're cooking it in these pots, you're doing yourself definitely an injustice. It will cause an extreme.
I wanted to ask you about from going to the grocery store up until your plate. There are so many things that we can do to mess it all up. It can be alkaline as soon as you pick it, but by the time we add it, maybe burn it. What are some things that we might want to look out for up until that point? Of course, we're talking about pots, maybe high temperature cooking, but what a person like me may even miss.
So for instance, when it comes to, so the reason why I use the term alkaline is because I understand that is what everybody has become privy to, that word, and they associate that with Dr. Sebi's lifestyle or Dr. Sebi's teachings. But I don't necessarily agree with the term alkaline. And also through listening to a few lectures of Dr. Sebi, that wasn't the terminology that he would have coined this lifestyle as well. His perspective and his terminology that he coined was the African biomineral lifestyle, okay? Or the African biomineral balance lifestyle, so to speak. So for me, I associate that term there with the indigenous foods of this planet.
Same.
I associate that term with the fact that you will take something and you will make a meal out of it, but you are not going to essentially cook it to a point where it's unrecognizable. You're not going to take something that is indigenous and then you're going to lace it with things that are super refined, such as agave. So for instance, on the Dr. Sebi nutritional guide, you see that agave is listed and all of these other things, but people are getting a bit too carried away with the fact that, it's listed on the nutritional guide, so therefore I'm going to have a bottle of agave once a day because it's alkaline. No, we need to focus on fresh, whole, and seeded foods, and to consume foods that are not too far from its natural design. So with me, I love to eat cooked foods. I have no intention on becoming raw. I have no intention. Reason being is because I truly feel that if you know how to prepare your foods a certain way, if you know how to pair your foods a certain way. So for instance, we should not be eating, let's say for instance, it's not too bad, but we shouldn't be doing this often. We shouldn't be pairing quinoa with chickpeas. If we are going to eat quinoa, then we should be pairing that more with dark leafy greens and fresh vegetables and other green vegetables and other colorful vegetables as well. But chickpea is a legume. Chickpea should essentially be consumed with dark leafy greens, things that are very light. The most that I would say, or I would encourage people to pair a chickpea dish with is with fonio, because fonio is starchless, it's gluten-free, it's just pure, it's mineral dense, it's extremely nutritious food, especially for the babies, especially for women and men as well. I'm not leaving the men out, but I always like to emphasize, because we are the ones that create life. And at the end of the day, without us, you could say the future of that man's well-being, it depends on us. It depends on how we treat ourselves from before conception. So I like to emphasize on women and children a lot. Another thing that I would say is to when you are focusing on the African biomineral balanced lifestyle, you want to focus on creating food from scratch. Foods from scratch. You want to try your best to eliminate the things that come in packaging, things that have already been done for you. So for instance, I go in supermarkets here in London and I see that they have like spiraled courgettes already made for you, or they would have maybe some butternut squash already chopped up for you, or they will have watermelon already packaged for you. You know, we live in a world where convenience has become the new God. So I really want to encourage people to know it's okay. Go, I know the watermelon is heavy, but you use it as a form of exercise. Go and get that watermelon. And if you are struggling because you have an ailment, I'm only 34 years young. I walk with a trolley. I don't know in America if the old women, when they go grocery shopping, they have this trolley and it has wheels. Oh yeah, I've had one of those since I was 22. When I go to the market, I bring my trolley, I put my melons in there, I make it work for me.
Oh, you got that hat on. You got that hat on too. They add an extra 20 years to you automatically with that.
I know. You know what? Just leave it out, yeah? Okay. So I want us to really focus on preparing foods from scratch. I know that sometimes mentally, energetically, we've got a lot going on and it could feel like this is just too much. But I want you to also encourage to get acquainted with raw foods, get acquainted with simple foods. It's like when you are living this lifestyle, you don't have to, this whole concept of Buddha bowls, and you see all of these health and vegan enthusiasts, and they will have the chickpea, the avocado, the hummus, the broccoli, they have so much going on in one plate. Right. We don't need all of that at one time. Right. Simplicity is good.
Yeah.
And food combining, exactly. So going back to food combining, simplicity is fine. When we are looking at a dish, just 2 to 4 things max on your plate. It's okay. It's okay. In terms of the different kinds of vegetables or grains that you choose to have that day, it is okay. It doesn't have to be a plethora of things all listed on the Alkaline Nutritional Guide. Another thing is that people see the Alkaline Nutritional Guide and they think it is super limited. And yes, it will look like that by design, because not everything that is indigenous to our planet is on that list. Right. Let's get that straight. What my husband said to me was that Dr. Sebi did his best to piece a list of things that he felt most people will be able to get on the globe. Mm-hmm. But there are many more things that are indigenous to this planet. Yeah. And I want to encourage people to do their research. I encourage people to go out there, just like you're doing, brother. You're out there. You share so much with me that I learned so much from you in regards to plant spirit medicine and foods and all of these things. Do you really think the Most High just literally gave us what was on that list that's comprised as the alcohol? Hell no. No. So I don't want us to get into that spirit or into that mindset of occult-like thinking. Let's go out there. Let's continue the work. Let's search the lands that we are a part of. I'm in London. One of the things that is abundant here, and it grows between the month of February and June in abundance, okay, in the woodland areas and in the forests and whatnot, is there's a thing called wild ramsons. Now, wild ramsons is also known as wild garlic. Now, it's not the typical garlic that, has the bulb and everything. It's not the root. It's essentially, it just looks like a nice widespread leaf, like a broad leaf. And when you cook that, it tastes just like garlic. Wow. Just like it. But that's not on the nutritional guide. Right. So again, I'm just doing my best to learn, what's on my land and what I have access to me and share it with you all. Obviously, I'll obviously try it beforehand and make sure that it is what it is and it's indigenous enough, and I'll do my best to share it. But one of the things that I know is that this wild garlic or wild ramsons is not readily available to all. So what you can do is you can go online, and there are a few companies abroad that actually dry it for you and package it. So you can get it in that form as well. So it's just important, you know, going back to the whole, I know I've been talking a lot, and just cut me off if you need to.
Oh no. Fine.
Thank you. You know, it's important that we do our due diligence to go out there and look for things that are native to our land. You know, just make do with what we've got and just do our best to pair the foods that you know that are beneficial to you. So one of the things that I like to encourage people to consume the most is dark leafy greens. Dark leafy greens is essential to our growth, especially as Indigenous people. We need that. In the West, they're always forcing us dark-skinned people to take vitamin D. Obviously, I get it because I'm telling you, brother, we don't get no sun over here.
Yeah, I know.
We don't get no sun. So as you can see that, you know, the sun is kind of shining on my face. It's a bit chilly. It is a bit chilly here, you know. So we're making do. And in the UK, we probably have like maybe a month or two of sun.
What?
That's it. Yeah. And majority of the time, because of what I'm in London, which is the city, majority of the time, you know, you've got the pollution that just clouds everything and creates, you know, these clouds. So we can't even get the sun fully when there is sun. So it's a challenge. But again, just going back to the dark leafy greens, consume that in abundance. You can't overdose on it. If you can get it, get it. Don't let these alkaline cult, you know, finger wagging idiots want to coach you online and tell you you shouldn't be eating kale and all these things. If that's all you can get, then please make do with what you can get. I always encourage people, do your best with what you have. Don't come and die because somebody said you shouldn't do this or you shouldn't do that. Just make do with what you have. Make do with what you have. And another thing is that when you are too tired to prepare a meal, or you wasn't able to soak your chickpeas from a day before or 2 days before, depending on how you like to prepare your food, go raw. And your raw dishes don't have to look like some top, you know, raw colorness Instagram looking like a rose and it was just an avocado. It doesn't have to be that way. You know, just get yourself another thing is mono meals. Mono meals is very important here, because if you say, for instance, you're like, okay, I don't have the energy to cook today. I've just given birth. It's just me and my child. I'm tired. I'm working. I'm doing the most. Get yourself 2 large ripe avocados, 4 mangoes, maybe 3 or 4 baby bananas, a little bit of spring onion, pinch of sea salt if you want, or you can use kombu, the seaweed kombu, and you have a meal there. You're good to go. Like, don't stress yourself with thinking that you have to do the most. Even if it's just like maybe 4 or 5 mangoes, eat until you are full. This is how I coach and support my children. Because obviously in the West, you could say in the West's mindset, we're living a very restrictive lifestyle.
Right.
Okay. In their mindset. But with me, it's just like, are you full? Yes, mom. I had a whole gala melon to myself. Mom, I'm good. There you have it. As long as you are full and you feel okay, my friend, go and run in the park and do what you're doing. It doesn't have to be, you know, this whole pizzazz and, oh my gosh, I've got to meal prep. And just, my friend, if you don't have the time to prepare your foods, if you're out and about, find yourself a quick market. If it's only oranges they have, get yourself 5 to 7 oranges, sit there and eat them. You're good. Eat until you're full. Just try your best not to, because I know that with this lifestyle, if you're not careful when you're coming into it, you can really destroy your mental health. Mm-hmm. And I've seen it over and over and over again, where I'm doing my best to educate people into just having a positive outlook into this transition, into this lifestyle. Mm. Just a positive one, because they feel like their life is over. Right. They feel like, okay, once I do this fast, I purify my body, I can't go out with my friends, I can't eat. Listen, let me tell you something. If my friends invite me out, I don't go all the time, because I'm not really too fond of going to sit in a fast food. What am I going to sit in a fast food restaurant for? And if that's who you are, friend, then you go and do that with your friends that enjoy that. You know, like we all have different kinds of friendship groups for different occasions. Right. Go and find your fast food friend for that. If you have, maybe what I would say to them is, maybe another day I will come over and we can chill. I'll cook something. You know, we can do something to celebrate your birthday then. You know, you don't have to be too You can still find a way to enjoy your friendship circles, but make sure that you put yourself first. Don't feel no way. Don't feel no way.
Yeah,
Because I definitely, yeah, don't feel no way about that.
and that actually goes in cahoots with what we're talking about. We didn't even veer off. That goes into detoxing your kitchen, because who you are dealing with and how you deal with those people. Yes, maybe it's not in your kitchen, but it's going to help you in your process of staying into you and knowing and being disciplined, and not even really being disciplined. It becomes your life. It's not, you don't have to be disciplined. You don't have to hold on and feel like you said, like you're missing out on something. Once it's your life, once you kind of adapt and you figure out, okay, look, I can go get Jackass bitters out here, and it's not necessarily food, but that has literally helped me stay level-headed out here. That's not on the list. That herb was never mentioned when I heard anything about Dr. Smithy, but being out here in Costa Rica, and dealing with people, I've been able to see that, this is an amazing bitter plant, and it's like one of the most bitter plants I've ever had, and I fell in love with it just by going out.
I just found out about it. I just found out about it through you. So I was looking online to see where I can find it, but I couldn't find anywhere that would ship it to me.
Right.
I would like to get some of that.
Well, you're gonna have plenty of it, and very soon, because I don't.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So like, when you come down this way, it's gonna be infinite amounts, and hopefully you can get it.
Brilliant.
Hopefully you can get it back to where you're going. But it grows on my property, so I'm just letting it all come up, and I have tons of it.
Brilliant.
So
Brilliant, brother.
yeah, the native plants, native food. There's something called a taro root. They call it malanga out here, and it's just so much food out here. I don't like. My whole mind has changed because I'm in a different environment. And even if I was, it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be, a pristine forest or anything like that. If there's water and and there's a little bit of sunshine, there's plants, there's herbs, there's something that can heal you. That's how amazing and abundant this place is. So really, it's just a matter of going out and foraging and talking to people. A lot of this stuff is not, you can't just type it in on the internet. It's not going to work. I try, even trying to research it and get more information. I try typing in Jackass bitters or Gavilana is what they call it here. So it's like you can type in something completely different and get completely different information. So the best way is just to go out, look for people that actually deal with it, actually that are not trying to be on the internet just to sell you. For most people on the internet are trying to sell you something. So go out, and I encourage you to talk to people that deal with plants. Talk to the native people, talk to the native people that deal with the weather and things like that. You're gonna discover so many different things and learn how to survive.
Exactly.
Your confidence will increase in this lifestyle if you know that you can go grab some food right outside.
Especially when you're more aware of how to eat your food as well, in terms of food combining.
Yes.
And also just understanding or overstanding that I can gain so much just from simple mangoes and avocados, or just a large soursop as a meal.
It takes very little, And
it does take very little.
Yeah, there's really so much food out there. It's kind of strange that how we've been convinced that there's no food other than in the grocery store, because it's just so abundant,
This is all by design. Yeah. So what you and sister are doing is a wonderful thing, because you're living in an environment that is conducive to growing your own food.
Right.
So I encourage people, even with me, I'm based in the UK. I'm going to be moving property soon. And I've actually just been able to get a nice, good garden. So I'll be growing my herbs and things that are indigenous to this land. Just make do with what you've got.
Right.
That's the best place to start.
Exactly. If you only have a little balcony, you can plant your own.
That too.
Herbs. And just by having that, you're gonna be taking the next step in a better direction. So there was something.
Exactly.
There was something else. Okay, the food combining also is something I've been preaching on for a long time. Mono meals and simplicity. I tried, just like the herbal combinations, I tried to only combine 3 or 4 things, and
keep that simple too.
Right,
yes, don't overwhelm yourself.
Yep. So what we do is we have a pot of quinoa pretty much on all the time. So it's even if we fall short, or we feel like, oh, we don't want to cook, or we don't want to do this or that, that quinoa is always there, and that always kind of like,
Exactly.
oh yeah, kind of like it just holds us just to get us through, because sometimes those nights are difficult when it's just like you had enough, babies and crying and things like that. So have your staple food. If you can get quinoa, that would probably that's the one for us. It's there all the time, and that makes it also very easy to staple food.
If you can get fonio as well, that's really dope, because what the beauty about fonio is that it's like one of the fastest cooking seeds on the planet. It cooks in like 3 to 5 minutes.
Wow, I didn't even know that.
Very quick.
Yeah,
very quick.
fonio is very quick, and I love fonio because I grew up on malto-meal. I don't know if you know what malto-meal, but it's like a porridge.
No,
It's like a oat cream of wheat. It's like
I've heard of it, but I've never had that before.
yeah, but I mean it's pretty much like
Okay.
porridge, and I grew up like that. It would be every morning I had porridge in the morning. So then when I got that fonio, I was like, oh man, it's such a beautiful thing. It took me right back to
Mm. And that's another thing. I'm grateful that you said that, because one of my joys of cooking and creating is being able to recreate the things that I love so much, especially growing up, because being human is very hard, but there's so much beauty to it at the same time.
yeah.
And a lot of the time, well, if not all the time, food, we associate food with moments and family and occasions and celebrations and all of these things. So another thing that can really trigger people into going into a downward spiral energetically is the fact of embarking on this lifestyle, not being able to celebrate with their families, and not being able to essentially have that fond memory again of when you are having that that euphoric feeling of when you're eating something that your grandma used to feed you. And those things that's important. That's very important to have that, because that keeps the memory alive within you. It keeps your emotions vibrating high as well. These things are important. It's important. So I don't like the mindset of completely just removing everything that you grew up with. So my thing is, find your healthy alternatives. So for instance, one of the things that I used to love having was I'm West African. I'm of Akan descent. So one of the things that my mother used to give me, which I loved, was agusi. There's a stew that we have called agusi, and it's just literally like a green leafy vegetable, usually made of spinach, and then they would use melon seeds. So they would grind the melon seeds, and you cook it down in like a stew of tomatoes and onions and peppers and ginger and all of these things, and you would have that with maybe some yam, or you would have it with rice balls, or you would have it just on a bed of rice or something like that, or you would have it with like pounded yam or something like that. So my thing is, okay, I miss that connection to my childhood, so let me find a way to recreate that. So another staple thing in West Africa is palm oil. Now over here, I'm not totally against palm oil, because I feel that there are certain kinds of palm oil that will be fine to consume. I just haven't come across it here in London, because obviously we're getting things imported in, and the things that they're importing is not of great quality. But one of the things that I would do is I created like a palm oil alternative to give me that, because again, food is not just about taste, it's about the color, the presentation of it. So for me, what I did was I used the annatto seed, which is what they use in the food industry anyway, for coloring of foods and things of that nature. So I used the annatto seed. There it is.
It produces
So
a very
beautiful.
beautiful red. That's like one of the most beautiful red colors.
Yeah. Listen, when I come over there, I'm going to have please save me some so I can be doing my makeup.
Yes, it
With
grows
that as
wild here.
well.
That grows wild here, by the way.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. So what I do is I take that, I use maybe like some cold pressed hemp oil, some grapeseed oil, and create my own type of, palm oil substitute for the base of that dish. Sometimes when I can't get good quality melon seeds, I just use hemp seeds. So there's a way to still recreate the things that you love. Even like another West African staple is jollof. Use the quinoa, or sometimes I use fonio.
Yeah.
Just try and make do, be creative, have fun, get your children involved, educate them as to why you're making this transition as well. Get them involved. So for instance, I've just recently put my 6-year-old on a regime of green smoothies every morning. Usually she tends to have like a big bowl of fruits or whatever, and she'll eat that before she goes off to school. But I'm specifically giving her the green smoothies because she's developed a skin condition all of a sudden. So the situation with that is, I'd like to touch on that because it's important, especially for those that are co-parenting. So my 6-year-old is not a child that I have between my husband now. It's not our child. So my daughter's father, when she goes to his household, she does and she gets whatever. She's the princess. So whatever she says, it goes down, right? So when she comes back to me, I'm having to constantly deal with the tug and pull of, okay, we're undoing the work again. No, the work has been undone. I have to recreate what, what has been undone. So it's a constant tug and pull that I'm having to experience. Now, in the beginning, I literally wanted to go off guns blazing because, like yourself, brother, I'm an earth sign, but I have a lot of fire in me.
Fire.
And I embrace it. I'm very much, you could say, a warrior spirited woman. So for me, it's like, we've had many discussions, her father and I, my perspectives, the transition. But again, because there is a lot of personal issues between me and him, he doesn't want to adhere. So the child is now having to experience his frustrations in a way of him essentially being disobedient. Not that it's from a place of he has to live how I'm living, but when she's with you, do your best not to do what you're doing to yourself, to her. That's all I ask. I'm not asking for you to do exactly what I do, but just make some adjustments, because my daughter doesn't have an issue with the lifestyle that I live in my household. She embraces it because I explain what I'm doing. And I'm very conscious of the fact that she's a 6-year-old girl who lives in the West. So I do my best to create the cakes and the cookies and the things that they like, the ice poles during summer. I just blend fruits and, I make do with what I have. So I'm having to experience that. So, just that type of construct that I am living in right now, I know that many people have experienced that or are experienced that or will experience that.
Yeah.
So I want people to do their best to just impart whatever you're doing, whatever you are learning, really live it. Really be it. Don't go around telling people what you're doing. Just be it, because especially when you have children or when there are just children around you, they are watching you. So with my daughter, they're not listening to you. They are watching you. Okay. So for instance, my daughter now, she's very advanced for her age. We all like to say that about our children, but she really is. She really is. She came from a great woman. So with me living my lifestyle, I do my best to, when she asks us, Mom, why are you doing that? What is that? What's that for? Why are we doing this? Where are we go? I don't tell her to shut up. I explain everything. And I don't just explain, but I explain why we're doing this. So now there will come a time where I'm going to allow her to go and spend more time with her father. And that has been a very challenging thing for me. And mentally, because it's the lifestyle adjustments, right? But what I've done, and I feel that I've done enough where she has seen the way that I live and she understands why I live the way that I live. She knows how to create certain things. She's watched me do everything. So when she goes into another environment, whether it be her father's household or a friend's household, or as she grows up, she will remember these things. So now, for instance, she's got this skin condition on the back of her neck. I don't get angry. I say, do you see what's happening here? Yes. Do you know why that's happened? Yes. And I'll ask her, why has it happened? So she explained to me, I was eating this and I was eating that. And, I used this on my skin. I did that. Okay, cool. So that's the situation, my love. So this is what we're going to do. When we do it, this is going now. Yes, it's going now. Do you know why it's going? She's like, yeah, because we were eating this, we was drinking that, and you put that on my skin. Cool. So that's your tools now. So no matter where you go on this planet, no matter the time, the date, you will remember that. And you will do your best to do that for yourself now. So it's important that we actually live it. Forget the, I've now learned something, so I want to talk about it online. Just do you, really empower yourself and just try your best to be a mother or father to any child. Don't just do your best for your children, because I don't just do what I'm doing for my own. I do this for all children. Any child that comes into my household, they're going to eat what I'm eating. I'm not making no adjustments for how you live in your household. This is what we do here.
Right.
And you will adjust to that. If you don't like it, I'll find something else for you. Or you can just have some mono fruits, eat to your full. So I really want, you have to, as an adult, you have to be firm.
Yeah.
You have to be firm in your design, you know. So I just wanted to share that, because I feel that, you know, when you are making any transition in life, you know, you're gonna experience some issues. You will. That's life. You're going to. And I'm definitely experiencing that. Definitely. Like I said, it definitely was pissing me off to the point where I wanted to go and do something. But you have to learn to accept that, you know what? This is the experience that I'm living in. Let me embrace it. And what's the point of me stressing my life out? What's the point? At the end of the day, this is not just my child, it's another person's child too. So I have to embrace the fact that the Most High has given me this child for this reason and many more reasons. So let me just be a peaceful example.
Right. Beautiful.
Yeah. So I just wanted to share that.
That was great.
I'm sorry if I.
Oh no, sorry, because you're like kind of flowing into like my questions already. Because the next thing I was
okay, cool.
is if you wanted to freestyle anything, if you had any other say.
Let me see. Simplicity is key. Don't be afraid of mono meals. Don't be afraid of, I already said that in terms of this, you know, when you're food combining, make sure that you are working with a lot of dark leafy greens, because with the dark leafy greens, it's a complete food. Lots of calcium, lots of zinc, all of these essential vital minerals that they say we need is in that. If you are living in a cold region like myself, make sure that you work with dark leafy greens on a daily basis. I encourage you. Hydration is key, okay? The best water on this planet is coconut water. Don't let anybody try to get this machine, get that machine. Don't let anybody try to swindle you out of grands of your money. Coconut water is the best. Second best is obviously, well, I would say spring water, coconut water, they're on the same level. Don't let anybody swindle you. If you can't gain access to these things, get yourself like a carbon water filter. There's one that I use called the Berkey water tank. I think they sell globally. Berkey water filter tank. Yeah. And you don't need any plug, no machine. It's a couple $100 or pounds. You could put any water in it, tap water, it will filter it through thoroughly. You drink that in abundance. Hydration is key. Another thing is, when it comes to herbal medicine, don't overwhelm yourself. One of my staples for my family is cheney root, nettles, dandelions, sarsaparilla root, obviously your sea vegetables such as your sea moss and bladderwrack. And I would say another one would be blue vervain, just for, you know, your energy, your nervous system, all of those things, anxiety, all of those things. So just keep it simple. Don't overwhelm yourself when you are coming out of this fasting phase. Just do your best to make gradual changes and be at peace with your choices.
Beautiful.
That's what I would say.
Thank you. I appreciate that, every word of it. Now, we won't keep you here for long. We're going to open up for questions. And I think we actually have one already that I see. Some of them are comments. Let me see. Okay, it says, my 15-year-old son refuses to eat because my husband and I changed our diet to eating and cutting out fast foods. Yeah, 15, that's the age where it's like, woo.
You know what? I have an 18-year-old. He'll be 18 in August, right? Okay. And when I made my transition, he was roughly about, I would say between the ages of, because you see with me, it's been a gradual thing. So yeah, I remember when I started off with just drinking herbal teas, like chamomile and something like that. It was a gradual, slow process. So with my son, one of the things that I did from young was introduce him to fruits and vegetables very early, very early. So that kind of gave him a good start in life. Now he's at the age of soon to be 18. When I cook my foods, I offer him, would you like some? He's like, no, mom, I'll sort myself out. It's okay. He's working 2 jobs. He's studying. He's a man now. So I don't force my lifestyle onto him. In my culture, like I said, I'm of Akan descent. From the age of 13, you're a man. From the age of 30, well, that's if the parents have prepared you for that. But you are a man at 13. So I've done my best to be that mother in my son's life, where I encourage him to use his voice. I encourage him to share his perspectives. I encourage him to make his own decisions, but I'm very much there with him. And if I see that a decision that you're making is not the best one, I'm going to let you know, and I'm going to let you know why. And I'm definitely going to let you know the consequences to that. So with my son now, he likes to go, he loves the new age lifestyle. You know, you can press a button and McDonald's is at your house and all of this nonsense, and kebab is at your doorstep in 3 seconds. Oh, he's thriving in it. And I'm looking at him and I said, oh, wow, you're really enjoying it. I'm that parent. You're really enjoying yourself over there. Yeah, you be careful now. Would you like some CMOS?
Oh, man.
Yeah, he will drink it. Yes, mom, I have some CMOS. Okay, good. But be careful, Dejon. My son's name is Dejon. I said, because when you reach a certain age, you will have a limp dick.
Ooh.
I tell him, I said, you need to be careful, because when you're eating like this, there's parasites, and you will give birth. There's a possibility that you can give birth to children that will have deformities, that will have the common things that they like to say is common now, ADHD, autism, and all of these things. Be careful. So I'm telling him, you can't say your mom, oh, I didn't know. You know.
You know.
So you know. So go and make your decisions, but you will make informed decisions.
Right.
You will make him, but he knows that he can come to me when he goes into the kitchen. You know, he has everything that he needs to correct himself. You know, he knows that, but I'm doing my best to give him the room, because he needs to know what it feels like to have a stomach ache, to have a rash just appear out of nowhere, because he's a very good looking man. So when he, you know, the face is looking a certain way, he'll be there looking at me. I said, you know why? You've eaten kebab 5 days a week. So I don't force him. I don't, you know, I'm not in his room knocking the door trying to force him to live the life. I just give him informed choices. Like, I just do my best with that. One of the things that I would say though is that, say for instance, because I still want to be able to have that relationship with him in regards to food and motherhood. You know, that's something that's important for us as a people. So what I say to him is there anything that you'd like for me to cook for you that you like in particular? But I will not cook meat, because it's not in my, that's not something that I'm willing to do. But if there's anything else that you love from the plant-based, you know, kingdom, if you want me to cook that for you, I will cook it for you. And sometimes he will say yes, sometimes he will say, no, I'm okay, mom, I'll cook for myself, you know? So that's what I do. I just do my best to create things that he would like, that's not too far-fetched from my own ethos and way of living. For my daughter as well, there's certain things that she may not want to eat that I eat. So for instance, let me think of something quickly. Bitters, for instance. Let's talk about the bitters, the children and the bitters.
Well,
I love my bitters. You know, I hate my bitters, but I love it because I love how it makes me feel, right? And I love what it does for my skin and my hair. So with her, it's like, okay, I know that if I give you this bitters, you're going to start crying. You're going to be doing all of this jumping around like somebody's beating you. Yeah. So what I do is I just do my best to make a strong infusion of dandelion leaf, or root and root, nettle leaf, cheney root, sarsaparilla, elderberry. That's okay, and burdock. That's okay. It's not bitter, but I know that is essential for them and their growth and their development. Yeah. And then what I do is I'll add the sea moss gel, or if I've got it on hand, or I'll just add the endocrine powder, which is a combination of sea moss powder and bladderwrack powder to the tonic. Mix it. I add some date syrup, or if I've got wild honey, I add the wild honey. I put it in a syringe, give them 100 mils of that every day. So I do my best to find a way to still give them the things that are essential to their development, but it's not going to cause too much of a headache for me. I don't want to go and have to smoke ounces of weed every day because my child doesn't want to listen to me and wants to be carrying on and kicking off. I don't, so I just do what I can to still, help them in terms of their growth and their development. So
I like that.
That's all I will share.
I'm actually going to incorporate that myself. I think you just changed something in me where I think I would love to cook for someone, even if it's outside of what I would be doing,
Yeah.
That as long as it's plants, I don't really do cheeses. I don't even know how to cook anything I don't even know how to cook meat anymore. So it's like, I would like to incorporate. I like to serve people. I like to, I like to be that as well. So I like that you said that. So let's get back.
Yeah, because it's important to just make healthier choices that are in alignment with your goals. This is what I encourage, because like I said, mental health is a serious thing, and we're dealing with a lot of things that's being thrown at us every single day, till it literally takes our energy away. So I want us to get into the mindset of food positivity. It's interesting, right? I don't know whose page I went on today. Okay, that was it. I didn't go on anyone's page. I was in my Explorer. Now, you can go to, sometimes when you're in Explorer and you're seeing all of this foolishness cropping up in your Explorer, and you're like, I don't watch these type of things, or I'm not into this. Why is this coming up, right? So, but obviously it might be based on the people that you follow and the things that they are watching or whatever. So what you can do on your Explorer now is you don't even have to tap on it. You can just press it and it will pop up in like a small box, and then a list will come up and you can say, this is inappropriate or I'm not interested, right? So in the list of not interested or this is inappropriate or whatever, something came up. Food, what did it say? I forgot the name now. Something to do with food shaming or something like that. I don't know. Instagram is doing some new because obviously, you've got these people that are very much against what we do in terms of our lifestyle. And they'll say it's food restrictive and it's causing people to have mental health. And so anyway, there was a certain name that came up in regards to, like a title under that, guys. And I thought to myself, this is serious now, because obviously people are seeing people living a certain way and it's causing them to feel some type of way, about about themselves or their lifestyle, whatever it may be. So I really want to just encourage, food positivity. When you want to embark on an alkaline lifestyle, indigenous lifestyle, African biomineral, whatever you want to call it, just do your best to make a gradual transition, especially if you're someone that has struggled with food in the past, such as, bulimia and all of these things that people go through. So just do your best to make informed choices, but in a gradual way, and just do things that are in alignment with your health goals.
Right. Thank you for that. Okay, I have a question in here. It says, what are her thoughts on alkaline water?
I don't believe in it. I don't believe in it at all. In regards to the whole concept of drinking water from that filters it and churns it into the pH balance of alkaline, above 7.1, I don't agree with it. I don't. If you are going to drink any form of so-called alkaline water, coconut water is that. Coconut water is that. Natural spring water is that. Right. And that's all I have to say on that. But anything from a machine, I don't agree. No.
And I would like to say that water is alive, and just by when you pull it from, say, for example, if you pull it from a river or if you pull it from your spring, in minutes and hours, it's already changing.
Exactly.
The alkalinity, the electricity, all of that is literally a life. It's literally when you take something from its source, it starts to deplete. So
it's a life force.
Yeah. So when you put anything in a bottle and wait a specific time, you're literally like putting your food, even if it was let's say we put coconut water in there, that coconut water is going to go bad eventually. So
exactly,
water
it will.
Same thing. But the scary thing about water is that it doesn't really show you. It appears to be, very similar, doesn't change, but it could literally be dead in that bottle. And it could have been bottled up at the source, at the spring, you know what I mean? But by the time it got down there, it's in plastic now. So now it's, it's got plastic leached in it. So honestly, anything from a bottle, there's variables to this. There's, it doesn't have to have life force. It can, it can have other things that's important. Water, period, will save you if if you're about to die, water, you can have any type of water, it'll bring you back. But
Mm.
we're talking about the most optimal water. You're gonna want to get that from a spring, like you said, a spring or a coconut, because it's literally prepared
It's live.
live. Yes.
Even, brother, just literally having a bowl of fresh water in front of you, just speaking over it, your choice of words, the tonality, the vibration will change the essence of that water.
Mm-hmm.
It's that deep. Like, water holds so much memory. So much memory. Any more questions?
Let's see. I think I only seen comments in here. Let's see. Oh, I see one. In line with detoxing your kitchen, would you say incorporating live plants in your house and kitchen can be beneficial?
Oh, yes, no doubt. Of course, of course, of course. Whatever native plants you can find within your region, within your locality, definitely. And again, going back to what brother said in regards to growing food in like pots on your balcony, you can do that just in your kitchen as well, on the windowsill. If you have a window in your kitchen, that's fine. What else could I suggest? Yes, detoxifying your kitchen. Another thing would be cleaning products, and I'd love to get into that, but my battery's running super low. Actually, stay there. Give me a second. I can charge it using my other. I have like one of these cases that charges your phone. Give me a second. So in regards to cleaning products, you want to refrain from using bleach and all of these things, because this is another thing that can cause issues within us on a cellular level and can cause extreme sickness. Sorry.
Yeah, that one's been
Can you hear me?
a doozy for me, because it's been hard to find a cleaning product to really keep clean.
Yeah. What I would suggest,
the bleach thing too.
what I can you get baking soda there?
Yes.
Cool. If you can get, I don't know if Amazon delivered, I don't know why I'm saying this, like you are truly, truly off the grid, but I'm sure you can get Amazon to deliver to you, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So you see on Amazon, what I use for cleaning is I buy baking soda in bulk, and I get the one without anamilium. And then what you can do is you get yourself, like, if you go on Amazon, you can buy like 5 liters of white vinegar at a time. And it's very cheap, it's inexpensive. Mixing the vinegar with the white vinegar, wonderful cleaning agent, wonderful. It will keep things white, the toilet, the bath, everything.
Yeah, that's amazing. I will definitely actually,
and it's cheap.
Yeah, we'll take you.
It will last long. It will last you long as well. So get that.
Okay, perfect. All right, so I have, let me see, I think 2 more questions. The coconuts in my area are very expensive and not plentiful. So
okay, what you can do then is use water and key limes. Just add key limes to your water. That's wonderful.
Okay.
Extremely alkalizing.
And then the last question I have is about now they're sending questions. Okay. So about the coconut water in like in a carton. How do you feel about that? This is called Vita Coco.
Oh yeah, that's a hell no. That one, that's definitely a hell no. That stuff is mass produced, it's dead, it's not alive, it's possibly rancid as well, but they use like some form of citric acid or something to preserve it so that you don't taste how rancid it is or smell how rancid it is. See, this is the purpose of preservatives, is so that you can't see how this thing is degenerate or how it stinks because it is degenerate. So just stay away from these things. Like I said, if you can't get fresh coconuts in its jelly form, the actual green jelly coconut, then I would encourage you to just use water and key limes, or you can use the civil oranges or just seeded oranges and squeeze that in your water and drink that.
All right. And I'm gonna let these be the last 2 questions, y'all. And then I'm gonna close out the recording, and then we can kind of talk kind of freely if you guys want to talk, if you guys want to stay on whatever you want. But okay, so it says my 14-year-old daughter is having a hell of a battle with skin acne on the face and back currently. What do you suggest for cleansing? Her confidence has greatly been affected.
Okay, so first and foremost, I would suggest for us to look at what she's eating on a regular basis. We have to start there, because I get a lot of people asking me, what can I take? What can I take? But sometimes it's just we need to stop doing what we're doing right now. basically. So let's address what she eats on a regular basis. Let's also address her mental. Because one of the things that I have learned about myself, and obviously through, not obviously because of how you're supposed to know, but just through working with people on a one-to-one basis, is that your mental really does predetermine your physicality. Your emotional state predetermines your physicality. So if you are dealing with high amounts of stress, and stress is such a vast topic because half of the time we don't even know that you're under stress, especially if you're so used to being under stress. It's just your way of living, you don't even know, right? So how can we start to identify whether we're under stress? First and foremost, how your gut feels, how often are you eating, what thoughts are you having on a regular basis? Are they serving you or are they not serving you? That simple. Let's not even go too deep. Are they serving you or are they not serving you? Another thing in terms of identifying your stress is your sleeping patterns, maybe how long you're sleeping, or if you're not getting enough sleep. Because some people, everyone's different. How they process their life situation is some people might sleep too much because they're feeling quite stressed or in a state of depression and high anxiety, or they don't sleep at all. They have trouble having rest or just finding peace within their mind. So please address what she is eating on a regular basis. Please address her mental. Ask her questions. What's going on at school? How are you feeling? She may not want to open up. It may take a few weeks. It may take a few days. It may take a few hours, depending on your relationship with her. Because at the end of the day, like I said previously, when a child reaches the age 13, they are an adult. So we want to explore their perspective on life. We want to get, just do your best to be their friend in that moment. I'm not saying that you have to be her friend in its totality, but be her friend in that moment. Try and understand where she's coming from. Also, hormonal changes. Definitely. She's growing into her womanhood. So this could be, a manifestation of that. So how to really pattern her in a way that is going to benefit her, especially in the long haul, is giving her herbs every rising, every AM when she wakes up. A combination which is so simple, which would be really dope for her: dandelion root, nettles, red raspberry leaf, and sarsaparilla root. You can even throw in some burdock. Do equal parts to make it simple. What I would suggest is, just to give you some insight so you can make this for her ASAP, and I would also include blue vervain, because if she is dealing with any stresses in her life that may be detected or undetected, the blue vervain can help to recalibrate her central nervous system. So I would suggest for you to add all of those herbs. I'll mention them again: dandelion root, nettle leaf, burdock, sarsaparilla root. You could add some elderberry too. And what was the last one? Blue vervain. Equal parts, okay? So you say, for instance, you had 1 cup of each herb. You would take, say, 5 liters of water. Get 5 liters of clean, filtered water, spring water, whatever water you can find, not tap, okay, not the tap. Put that in a big pot, the biggest pot you have in your house. Bring that water to a boil. Then add a cup of each of those herbs that I've mentioned. But make sure that you only add the herbs once the water has been brought to a boil. You must never add herbs to cold water, because the hot water is going to essentially help to break down the cellular walls in the plant material so that we can release the vital minerals through sufficiently, okay? Once you've added all your herbs, then cover it with a lid. Never boil your herbs with just the pot open, because all that vapor, that's the vital minerals that is escaping through the vapor. Remember, vapor is water. So you don't want to lose the essence, so cover it. When you cover it, what you could essentially do, because you do have the elderberry and the burdock in there, and a blue vervain, if you're using like the vine of it and whatnot, turn it down to the lowest heat on your stove and let it simmer for about maybe just I would say half an hour is fine, because you're only working with a few berries and roots. Half an hour is fine, then turn it off, cover it, just leave it on the stove, let it steep overnight. Let it extract for at least 12 hours at minimum, okay? The following day or 12 hours later, strain it in glass bottles and put it in the fridge. So upon rising, you just pour out, you measure out 1 cup, put it on the stove, gently heat it. Don't overboil it, just gently heat it so it's nice and warm. If you're in a hot climate, then she can drink it cold straight from the fridge, and give her at least 2 cups of that every day, when she wakes up and before she goes to sleep. That's her medicine, right? What you could do, actually, I didn't mention this, but this will be very good for you to add to it. You could add this at the latter part. So the part where it's steeped for 12 hours or overnight. Once you've strained it, add, I would say, a cup of sea moss gel, because that is really good for her hormones, her central nervous system, her gut, all of that jazz. And most importantly, it's high in vital minerals, extremely high in calcium, and there's zinc in there as well. So that will be good for her. So I would suggest for you to add a cup of sea moss gel, mix it, then bottle it, okay? Give it to her twice a day. Now, like I said, address what she shouldn't be eating, because there's something that she's consuming that doesn't agree with her. Maybe she is eating well. So some of the things that you can look at that might not agree with her, which is listed on the Alkaline Nutritional Guide, would be things like spelt. Spelt. Just spelt and the rye. Yes, and rye. These things do contain gluten. So gluten could be causing inflammation within her gut. That could be triggering her to have, the skin condition. So I would suggest to remove that or use it sparingly. Sparingly meaning small amounts. Okay. So small amounts could look like maybe 1 to 2 times per week, if that. Okay. Another thing that I would do, and also I would encourage you to do, is to increase her fruit intake. Lots of fruits that are high in water. Give her that. That should be her breakfast. When she wants to snack on things, that should be her snack. If she's not feeling like, Mom, I don't really want to eat today, encourage her to eat the fruits that she loves. Nice, ripe, juicy, high water content fruits. This is good because it's going to help to cleanse her blood, remove waste from her gut, cleanse her colon, all of these things. Before you know it, she'll be feeling vibrant, looking vibrant. Another thing that you could do is give her nice cooked meals. Get her in the kitchen with you. Get her into that mindset of knowing that my energy matters. And when I cook my food, I'm giving my food good energy. So therefore, I'm giving back to myself. She is a girl child. She is a woman. She needs to know this shit now. She needs to know now. Get her into the kitchen with you. Create that mother and daughter relationship where we're looking after ourselves. This is what it looks like when you are getting the soul food back, darling. You are taking care of yourself in this way. Get her, don't do it for her. Get her to do it with you. Get her to do it with you. Yeah. So that's all I can think of. Another thing is what she's bathing with. Yes, that's important. So I would remove soap completely. I would work with bentonite clay, or I would work with Rasul clay. I don't even use soap on my skin. I have these exfoliant mittens. I literally make a paste out of that and I rub that on my skin. I wash my face with that. I wash my hair with that. I rinse off whether I'm bathing or showering, and that's it. Work with that. When you topically, what you can use on her skin, cold pressed hemp oil, I find is beautiful, works wonders. Or cold pressed olive oil, just simple ingredients. It doesn't need to be no mix and blend up with essential oils and all of that. Just keep it simple. Cold pressed hemp oil or cold pressed olive oil is really cool. And just see how she works with that. But definitely address her mental.
Okay, beautiful. I appreciate that. And lastly, I just want to give you a little bit of a promotion because I know you have a beautiful cookbook that we resort to.
Oh yes, thank you.
It's such a well put together book. She's about to go grab it. I've actually never seen a book better than that, especially when it comes to the diversity and the creativity of the dishes that are in there. There are no dishes that I've seen made in such a way that's like, this is really traditional food. This is if you want to get Ghana, if you want to get, if you want to actually taste these things in a healthy way, that's the closest I've ever seen it be done.
There it is.
Look how beautiful this thing is. It's put together.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask you, how in the hell did you do this?
Let me tell you something. I enjoyed it.
Oh my
I
God.
tell you a lot about a story, a quick story, because I know I can be quite long-winded. Right. So in the year of, woo, I'm telling you, being a woman, we have to come back. We have to come back again. We need to talk
Yeah, we
more.
gotta do
It's
this.
good. It's good to talk, you know. So in the year of 2014, I wanted to start basically what I'm doing now. And I wanted to call the business Mutulu then, but I decided to go ahead with the name Dela Foods. Now, a year, say around the year 2012, I fell pregnant and decided to terminate the pregnancy because I wasn't happy with who I was in a relationship with and everything else, right? So I went through a process where I just totally, you know, did what I needed to do then. And then it wasn't until when I started to really delve into my, into, you could say into my myself, like my real self, that was when the grief really came to surface for me in terms of what I had done.
Yeah.
So in terms of having an abortion. So I decided to give birth in another way and create the business, which was around herbal medicine and all of this, right?
Right.
So the business was called Dela Foods then. Fast forward, it's helped me so much, hence why I'm able to talk to you today, you know. And the year 2020, I fell pregnant again, but I had an ectopic pregnancy. So I couldn't go full term with the pregnancy. And I was already in the beginning stages of structuring that cookbook there. So I decided to, after the pregnancy had been, basically terminated, I decided to really put my energy into that book. And that was where so basically, whenever I've dealt with any emotional imbalances or any form of traumatic experiences, I find a way to create. That is my way of making peace. It's not a form of escapism. It's a way to really delve into myself and find healing within that. But most importantly, what I have learned through my years of growing into womanhood is that the best way that I personally can heal myself is by helping others. But I must make sure that I always help myself first before I help others. So that cookbook is definitely a testament to my experience 2 years ago. But I enjoyed it. I was listening to all my old school music while I was creating it. Econ will tell you, I was up at 1 a.m., 3 a.m. I was happy to do that book. Very happy.
And that's why this came out.
Yeah.
Such a great production.
Yes, I was very happy.
It has so much good stuff in here. Like I'm looking at how many, it's 120 recipes. Like what is?
Yeah. So somebody asked, where can I get the cookbook? If you go to eattolivenottoDie.com, you can get that cookbook probably in the next 3 days. We ship worldwide. Okay. So if you go there, because I don't have any in stock on my website at the moment. So if you go to eattolivenottoDie.com, you can get it there.
Do you do them digitally?
Yes, you can definitely get an ebook as well. So if you go to Mutulu, let me type it for you. I'll type it in the chat.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, so Mutulu.
And when this goes up on YouTube, I'll definitely put the link in the description. So
thank you. It's been a pleasure having a conversation with you all. It's been, I can definitely stay longer.
Oh yeah,
definitely. I've enjoyed.
This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna close out just for the sake of the recording, and then we'll just hop back in here. So
okay, cool.
So thank you guys for viewing. If you are viewing this after the fact, and I hope you guys do pick up the book, and I hope also that you have gained something from this in some way, shape, or form. And like, comment, subscribe. And share the message. Like Mutulu said, it's good that we converse, it's good that we talk, and it's good that we, allow each other to see that this is here and this is that you have help and support. So, all right, you guys have a good one. Those that are out there that are watching it, peace and love.